a welcome back present. Oh, government has fallen. Stop it. Let me relax. Let me calm down, kids. Uncle Andrew is going to tell you exactly what took place, give you the highlight, and then, of course, try to predict what's going to happen next, which is sometimes, most of the time, always wrong because they end up doing completely something opposite. Okay, let's start off with the closing of the parliamentary year. Every single year, the Parliament of St. Martin opens and closes, closes and then opens a new parliamentary year. So every year it's a different one. It is in September. It is usually on the second week of September. The Monday is where they close the old parliamentary year, and then the Tuesday is where they open the new parliamentary year. Okay, and then that's where the governor comes for the opening, and he gives an outline of what the government, the Council of Ministers, plan to do for the upcoming parliamentary year, which is in that particular year. During the closing of the parliamentary year on the Monday, the faction leaders make speeches and they talk about the struggles and how difficult it was and how not difficult it was, and then they move into the new parliamentary year, hoping to do more work, which most of the time they don't. Okay, so today was the closing of the parliamentary year. Member of Parliament Frankie Myers threw a monkey wrench in the whole system by just complaining a little bit about the government that he supported since 2018 after the elections with a coalition with a Christian party, his faction, and the Christian party made this particular government that we have now. And he was like, I don't support this government anymore, just like that. Now, he didn't send in an official letter. Now, normally how it's supposed to go, kids, is that he needs to send a letter to the chairperson of Parliament to state that he does not have the confidence anymore in the Council of Ministers that they have now. And then afterwards, that's when government has fallen. Because he says that he doesn't support this current government, or he can't support this government anymore, doesn't mean that necessarily it was officially done. Only when he sends an official letter stamped by the House of Parliament and hand it over to the President of Parliament, or he could just email it, that's when it's official. Then they lose majority. So it goes from 8 to 7. Okay, kids, this is where it gets a bit difficult. Uncle Franz Richardson is still in jail, meaning he can't vote, meaning the opposition has been weakened. I already said that during my last during my last show when he was arrested. So instead of 7, Uncle Frankie could then basically join the 7 of the opposition. But without Franz, it is 6. And with Frankie now, and France not there, it becomes 7. In order for you to rule the government, you need 8 or more. You stay with me? Okay. So because Uncle France is in jail and he is in pretrial detention, you can't necessarily take his seat and give it to somebody else yet. It has to he has to stay in jail a little longer. And then afterwards, the process starts to get a deputy person. But for now, it's not there yet. So Franz Richardson still exists in the opposition. Good. What does it mean for the government that we have now? They lost support, meaning that any legislation that they bring to the House of Parliament, they will have to rely on the opposition to get support for that particular law that they want passed. Or Frankie Myers could be petty and basically vote no against anything that they come because he doesn't support the government. Now, does it mean that Frankie Myers has gone independent? No, we don't know because he hasn't officially done it yet. He just said it with his mouth. Now, the reason for him doing that, this was his excuse in Parliament today.
I cannot continue to be a part of a government in which the outside manipulation is stunting the forward motion of St. Martin and its people. I cannot be a part of a government to do that. I have thought long and hard about this. I want to tell my colleagues in Parliament and the people of St. Martin that as a person, I cannot do this anymore as such, because what we are getting is, it is one thing to say it's in the best interest of St. Martin with the amount, but while all of the other actions have shown nothing but selfishness. And that selfishness is for too long. I have been quiet. I have been a team player. I have kept things that we have discussed within the realms of the party, because I felt for the greater good and for the coalition, that's how it must stay. I find myself in a position defending things that I know to my heart I don't want to defend. And when I find myself in a position like that, I don't like to be in that position. So as such, moving forward, the road is even going to be rougher for St. Martin and its people. But as such, I hereby would like to make an announcement today that I am officially withdrawing my support from the present government. I thank you.
Don't play with me, boy. No, you play.
Don't lock me up. Don't lock me up.
Now, you know, I can't help it. My good friend, Elmer Ford Chacho Claude Peterson, sometimes he just say things that just get me so vexed, because after Frankie Myers just said live on the floor of Parliament that he does not support this government anymore, Chacho then, for his speech, gets up and he says, this coalition of 8 is very, very strong. We are a government of, and everybody like, but Chacho, you just lost control of the government, and he's just going by his speech. And then he make a reference by saying, but it looked like what Frankie Myers just did. I don't know if that's still the case. What? You don't believe me because you think I just overreact. You think I just like making things up.
It has been quite an interesting year with never a dull moment. With a slim coalition majority of 8, we have seen the past year that the coalition has lost the majority vote many times. We have even seen one of our very own ministers sent home by one MP of the coalition with the full support of the opposition. By all accounts, Madam Chair Lady, this is unheard of. Yet, this coalition still stands. Yet, this coalition still stands. Yet, this coalition still stands.
I'm officially withdrawing my support.
This coalition still stands.
Chacho. Let's move on. Scenario time. Now, does it mean that the Dutch is coming and they're going to take over and there's higher supervision? No, because members of Parliament supposed to be grown. They can come to an understanding and make a government or make a coalition of 8 or more persons. In a case like this, there's 2 people you need to watch out for, which is the doctor who sent home Emily, and also Frankie Myers, who basically said he doesn't have support, he doesn't have confidence in this particular government anymore. They can go independent, each of them can go independent and support the 6 people that they have now in Parliament in opposition, and basically have a new government, and we go through the whole hoopla, we go through the whole hoopla. Or Chanel Brown Bill, which is a wild card, the Doc, which is a wild card, Frankie Myers, which is a wild card, decide to all go independent and then also support members of the opposition, which is the National Alliance, and whatever left of the USP MP Rolando Bryson. So that would be, instead of 6 members, 6 plus 3, you'll have 9 people supporting a new government. So that's one concept. Or Frankie Myers can say, because remember he said on Oral Gibbs a couple of nights ago that he's going to resign, or not resign, but retire in 2021 when we have the next election. So he said, you know, he's done, he's finished, you know, his time has come and gone, no more Frankie Myers, and now he gone and just dropped the government. The thing is, he can just basically tell everybody, go themselves, and just go home. And just resign, completely resign, leave the seat for the party, and then the UD figure out who has to come up next. Now, I did some research, and you know who is up next to, if Frankie Myers decides to resign, you know who has to come into Parliament? Emil Lee. And you can imagine how excited he is now. Right, Emil?
Lock me up.
Know your place.
Don't lock me up. Frankie! I know my place. Do you know your place? I know her place. See, you know his place. No, I know my place. We did lose the place. See, the taking place. But I can't own the place. Read him. Know your place. Know your place. Read him. Give me space. Give me space.
See that? So there is so much scenarios. There's so much scenarios, and it is really getting interesting, this situation, this political situation that we're in. Of course, Holland is going to be a little bit upset, but they can't do nothing about it because that's just how things go. Coalition members fight. They end up sometimes breaking up, sometimes they make up, sometimes they break up, or they get a new relationship. In our case, that could be the case. Worst case scenario, Leona Mad and Romeo, which everybody is banking on, can call elections within the next 3 months. She can get a decree and basically call elections, which is unfortunate because then we'll have to go back to the polls. And the less people that show up to the polls, the more of the same people will end up going back in office. That's just how it is. So it's up to, right now, Frankie Myers to decide if he's going to support a new coalition or will he just go independent and support whoever and just sit there and wait. Today he feel like voting yes, tomorrow he feel like voting no. Or he just don't show up because he don't have to answer to nobody and he doesn't have to be part of a political party because he's going to retire in the next 2 years. You see how interesting this whole situation is? He has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. No consequences. It ain't like you're going to vote for him again because he's not going to be on the ballot. Whatever. I know for sure right now, the worst minister in St. Martin history, Cornelius the Weaver, must be shaking. I have absolutely nothing to say about the Minister of Justice. But I just wanted to say, the worst minister in St. Martin history! I like this show. All right. So, I hope that I gave you a little concept. Has government fallen? Yes. Will there be new elections? We don't know yet. What does it mean for the parliament? It's up to Frankie Myers, or the members of the coalition, or the members of the opposition to form a new 8 or more members. You see how it goes? No matter what, 8 people or more will be the next government or the same government. It's a no-brainer. I know for sure the new minister, Chris Weaver, must be shaking in his boot also because he's been minister for 3 days and now government fall. That should be, he's like right now going like, what? I don't understand. Oh, 3 days of becoming minister, and I just, you know, the asses I had to kiss to get in here, and now you just go and drop government? Frankie, what you doing? Interesting upcoming days, but of course, Late Night Show will make sure keep you updated. Let's begin the show. I missed you. Yeah.
Unwind. Qui j'ose en faire, pas qu'à comprendre ce qu'on s'y pas ni problème. Tout temps en ça, la vie la règle, qui j'ose en faire pour que ça tienne bien. Ce là c'est ça médicament nous. Soukla c'est ça médicament nous. Soukla c'est ça médicament nous. Soukla c'est ça médicament nous. Si c'est ça même on nous oublié, on nous